What a problem. Too many surfboards. And here's the solution. 3-tier rack from storeyourboard.com. Solid wood. Here's the hardware. It's just 4 screws with plugs to keep it looking cosmetic. First step is always finding a stud, and I'm lucky that I need to install this on an exposed wall. But if you were installing this in your living room, you'd either use a stud finder, or a little trick I learned is you find the electrical box, knock on each side of the wall to figure out which one has a stud, because it's going to be screwed into a stud on one side, and then go up from there. Or you can open up the plate and see which side it's screwed onto, and that'll tell you where your studs are. Always pre-drill, and the way you know which bit to use, put the screw behind it and you want it to be a little bit smaller than the threads of the screw. I'm going to choose this 1/8. So I started putting it in by hand. It's a little tight, so you kind of got to screw it in. You see how it sticks out a little bit. So then you can just put it right where it needs to go. Then you can screw it in. I want it to swing so I can put this second one in. Really slow when you're going in. But only went in a little bit because the wood is so thick. So I'm going to go in and finish drilling that hole. Wow, broke my drill bit. What that teaches me is don't use crappy drill bits. A. B, make sure you're always drilling straight in. I was at a bit of an angle. So now to adjust for that, I'm going to have to either raise or lower the rack. This is the extended bonus version. Here's something I just noticed. Silly me, I was screwing right into a knot. The other lesson I learned, go slow. So here's a little bit smaller bit. I'm just going to drill a hole just a little bit higher. Fits in that hole a little better, a little bit more centered. Go until you hit that hole. Feel it. Problem with using the wrong drill bit, didn't go deep enough, so just going to try and extend it a little bit. As you can see, I only went in this far. I can hear it splitting the wood. So I guess that bit just wasn't big enough. Alright, try number 3. The new drill bit I'm using is a 5/32. Goes in way easier, but still tight. There's another problem. You screw it in all the way and there's that gap. And that's because when I started it I had too much of a gap. So unscrew it, make sure it's flush and in the right hole. Really hunker down on it. Put my body weight into it. There's no gap. I don't have a level that's long enough, so. There's your mark for the next rack. So the funny thing is the drill bit I want to use, that I need to use, doesn't fit in that hole. So you either need a super skinny mechanical pencil, or you can use that drill bit that I started with to make your mark. So there's my mark. Here's that first drill bit, one that was too small, really the second drill bit. What you can do is put it in and just kind of make your mark. Not too much space. Make sure it's flush when you're screwing it in. Really put pressure down. Get this in. I know I'm not using a drill, but I like to feel be able to hear the wood and feel it and make sure so you don't split something. You don't want to split a stud, or you don't want to split your rack either. It's a little shaky. You could probably use some tightening. Make sure it's tight. Once you know it's tight, don't forget your little plugs. Probably use a rubber mallet, I don't have one. So you put them in by hand first. Just so you have a comparison, here's the clear rack I installed and did a video for recently. Right underneath this 3-tier rack I just installed. Takes up more vertical space per board, but the depth you save is pretty significant. If you look, here's the clear rack, and then here's the 3-tier rack. Fit more boards on it obviously, but it does stick out a lot farther from the wall. For me, I wanted to be able to have more space down low for walking, so this works perfect.